What's good everyone, it's Smudger here. Let's talk about the machine pistol, gold camo, quickest and easiest way to get it. First off, do not bother leveling this thing up in multiplayer. Go do the zombies method where you melee them 35 times and then back out and repeat at least until you unlock these 40 round mags. Otherwise you get 10 rounds and it is not useless, it's a decent little secondary and it does the job of a secondary very well, but it's not really what you want to be playing with until you unlock these. So go do the zombies method if you really want to. Hardcore is probably your best bet, but make sure you unlock these and put them on straight away. And the burst fire conversion is what I personally preferred as well. Aside from that, this is pretty much what I use the entire time. Nothing really to change until you get to the attachment specific, but even then none of them were that bad at all. It's not a bad gun, it can just be frustrating, and if you're here, you're probably here for one particular challenge, and we'll get to that a bit later. But let's start from the very beginning. So first up, you have 200 eliminations, nothing to worry about, you'll hit this as you go along. And then you have 50 headshots, again, nothing really to worry about. You don't need to do any more than 50 headshots, so nothing to worry about there. Sort of thing that will come naturally as you get all the other kills necessary. I'd be very surprised if by sheer luck you didn't hit these. And then you have 50 multi-kills. Relatively easy if you're in hardcore shiphouse. It might take you longer than you expect it to, or longer than it does for a primary weapon, especially if you've only been doing like SMGs or ARs, but it should come fairly naturally. You should pick them up by accident as you fire through someone, your bullets catch someone else, that kind of thing. Then we have get 5 kills without dying 30 times, and this is where people are going to struggle, or start to struggle. You can do this in 2 ways. Both ways in hardcore ship house because it's easier. You can either get 5 kills with this gun without dying and want to pull your hair out, or you can choose another gun to use as your primary. So an AR and SMG, I kind of wager over an AR over an SMG just because you can sit back and be a bit more conservative if the lobby is a bit sweatier. And what you're going to want to do is either with your grenades or that special AR you just picked out, get 4 kills. I personally use the UAV as one of my kill streaks, so I know when I've got 4 kills, because in hardcore you can't see like your kill streak counter. So when I've got that UAV, I know I've got my 4 kills, and at that point it is time to switch over to the machine pistol to get that 5th kill. As long as you get the 5th kill with the machine pistol, it will count as a Bloodthirsty. Similarly, if you get a quad feed with a grenade and get the 5th kill with this machine pistol, it will count, etc, etc. That is by far the easiest way to do it, and you'll see in some of the footage on screen. That's what I was trying to do, just trying to grind these out. It was the last challenge I completed. I kind of tried to do one every other game almost, as I was kind of using this gun and going through the challenges. Just so when I came to the end I wasn't stuck with like 15 of these to do. I think I had 3 of these to do, which is so much nicer. Totally doable, just make sure you're using a primary weapon for 4 of the kills every time. Then you have 50 long range kills. This is where the burst barrel comes in incredibly useful. You can sit pretty much anywhere within Das House or shipment. It has to be 20 meters away, the same as the MK11 launcher, and you can just whack these out. The burst barrel is so much better. It has a decreased drop off range at distance, and it just makes things so much more controllable and easy, because if you play with this, and I'm sure you will have prior to this video, you'll see the recoil is pretty wild on it when you hold down the trigger when it's kind of on full auto. So the burst barrel is the way to go for this. Play your angles, you don't need to be that far away realistically. Definitely try and make sure you are centering on their upper chest and head to make sure you get the kill, but it shouldn't take you too much in all honesty. And I was hitting people on Das House like through that really scummy spot where you stand on the deployable cover at the back of one of the spawns and getting long shots with it, so it's entirely doable. Then you have 50 close range kills, pretty self-explanatory. It's a pistol made for up close encounters. You shouldn't have any issues doing this. Be aggressive, get in people's faces. You don't even need to be that close. It's not like point blank distance, it's like 5 meters, 6 meters, something like that. You should have no issues. Then we have Get 50 kills after recently swapping to your primary or secondary weapon. So I hope you all like YYing, because that's what you're going to be doing. I just knocked these out in a couple of games solely focused on this challenge. You may do it naturally if you're doing these camos as kind of like a side mission to a primary weapon you're leveling up. If it's just something you're passively focusing on, you might do it naturally. Otherwise, you can just run around with your primary weapon, and when you see or think an enemy is going to come around a corner, just quickly switch. You get a decent kind of grace period for it. I'd say probably 3 to 4 seconds to get the kill once you swap weapons. So in hardcore, that's really enough time to be picking up a kill or two, and you should fly through them. You'll pick up them here and there without even noticing, but if you're going to focus on it, just make sure you're kind of being super aware of your surroundings. Try and keep UAVs in the air, and just notice when red dots are kind of coming towards you, and try and time for when you're swapping your weapon then. Then we have 50 ADS kills with the burst fire, 40 round mags and steady trigger. You should have already had 2 of these equipped for most of the challenges. I switched to the steady trigger purely for this. Super easy. ADS kills, 50 of them, whack them out, there you go. I found shipment was far easier for all the attachment specific challenges, just as a side note. It just was incredibly easy to do on shipment as opposed to Das House, where people play a little bit slower. And then you have 50 hipfire kills with the 140 barrel, the 9mm 20 round mags and hair trigger. Pretty easy. I think I did half and half, like half shipment, half Das House. Definitely easier on shipment. It's a pretty easy challenge. If you have auto attack sprint and you'll find it's messing you up, you can always switch that off. The sprint fire time on this thing though is pretty rapid, so you shouldn't have any issues. Super easy. Obviously don't try and take on any challenges from like more than 10 meters away. Then we have 50 ADS kills with the short barrel, the 8mm 20 round mags and the lightweight trigger. The trickiest of the 3 attachments, but not overly tricky. The biggest issue is that the 8mm 20 round mags do no damage and you don't have many bullets. It just means you have to be pretty close to people, pretty spot on with where you're aiming. It's a bit less unforgiving, but not so unforgiving that I'd say you'll have a massive issue with it, that's for sure. And that is the final challenge for gold machine pistols. Relatively easy. The only thing frustrating was the Bloodthirsties, but that's just because they took some time as opposed to anything else. But as always, if you think I've missed any tips that you found, drop a comment, let other people know about them. As always, if you did enjoy the video, give it a like, subscribe if you want to find your way back. Hope you all have a good day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.